In a big NewsX exclusive, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken with NewsX's Editor-in-Chief Rishabh Gulati, and during this engaging conversation, the Prime Minister has spoken extensively about the 100% saturation of the government's welfare schemes. He emphasized that his aim is 100% benefit of government schemes to everyone, and there should not be any scope of discrimination when it comes to delivery. He also stressed that some might get it early and some might get it later, but the aim of his government is 100% saturation of all government schemes. So not only that, he also further explained that true secularism and the goal of that is only fulfilled once every single person gets the benefit of all government welfare schemes. Now, before we begin our discussion, let's quickly listen in to what the Prime Minister said on this big issue during this exclusive interview.
मेरे दो सिद्धांत हैं, एक 100% सैचुरेशन। अगर मान लीजिए गरीब को घर देना तो टुकड़ों में मत करो, 100% सोचो। जब 100% होता है तो फिर भेदभाव कहाँ आता है भाई? मुझे गैस कनेक्शन देना है तो मैं कहता हूँ 100%, शौचालय बनाना है 100%, नल से जल देना है 100%। हाँ, किसी को जनवरी में मिलेगा, किसी को अप्रैल में मिलेगा, किसी को नवंबर में मिलेगा, लेकिन योजना सबके लिए होगी 100%। और मैं मानता हूँ सेकुलरिज्म सच्चा इसी में है कि आप 100% करते हैं, सामाजिक न्याय सच्चा इसमें है कि आप 100% करते हैं। तो मेरे तो मिशन ही 100% का है, सैचुरेशन का है।
Well, NewsX had earlier spoken with Muslim beneficiaries of the UPI scheme, toilet scheme, as well as the Awas Yojana, who highlighted how these schemes have changed their lives. Let's listen in to what these beneficiaries had to say on ground in different parts of the country.
Let's talk to Mohammad Zakir, who is the president of Papughat Fruit Market Association. Zakir जी, हमें ये बताइए, जब से ये UPI मतलब ऑनलाइन का जो आया है, उससे कितनी सहूलियत मिली है व्यापार में?
सर, बहुत सारे इससे जो है ना सहूलत मिली हमको। जो है ना चेंज के लिए इधर उधर भागना पड़ता था। जब अगर 500 की नोट अगर कोई ला के दिए तो उसके लिए जो है ना हमको बहुत सारे मुश्किल होती थी। कभी हमारे पास चेंज नहीं रहता था तो गिराक कस्टमर भी जो है ना वापस चले जाता था। लेकिन ये UPI आने के जो है ना बहुत फैसिलिटी है, हमको बहुत अच्छा है। सर, ये जो है बॉक्स जो दिया ना, ये साउंड बॉक्स, इसकी वजह से जो है ऐसे लोग भी जो है, ऐसे लोग के लिए भी जो है ना बहुत सारे जो है ना बेनिफिट है। इन्हों भी जो है ना समझ सकते हैं कि मेरा पैसा मेरे अकाउंट में आ गया।
आपको क्या लगता है, पहले जब शौचालय नहीं था आपके घर में तो क्या समस्या होती थी? आप
बहुत समस्या था, जाते थे अंधेला रात में, कभी गिर जाए, कभी मुँह भरे गिर जाए, कभी सांप है तो मच्छर काट लेता था। कच्चा जमीन है, हम लोग कच्चा जमीन है, मच्छर काट ले, डंगो काट ले तो यह बीमारी हो गया, तो वह बीमारी हो गया, तो खुजली हो गया। अब बन गया है तो बहुत सुविधा है, बहुत सुविधा है। अपना गाय अपना आए, सुविधा बहुत है। चलते थे घैला लिए में, सिर पर डोल में लिए में, पटसिन गिर गए। अरे आज हम लोग केवल गिरे, अरे बाप, कमर में चोट लग गया। उससे बहुत अच्छा है। बोरिंग लगा, सेबुल लगा, पानी खोलते हैं, चुटकी से पानी से पीते हैं, खूब अपना नहाते हैं, फिरते, बहुत आराम है, बहुत आराम। दिन में के उन्ने मर्दाना है, उन्ने मर्दाना है, उन्ने है लड़कर, तो कैसे बैठे? अब बन गया है तो बढ़िया से आराम से जाते हैं। न तो मच्छर काट ले तो सांप के डरे ना जाए, तो बिच्छू के डरे ना जाए, तो देखे कि कोई आदमी आ रहा तो बैठे ना। यही सबका बहुत था। अब बहुत सुविधा हो गया है, बहुत सुविधा। पानी लैटरिन सबका बहुत सुविधा हो गया। घर में भी कल है, बाहर भी कल है, सगरो सुविधा बहुत अच्छा है। ऐसा बात ना है।
तो सरकार से खुश है ना?
हाँ, एकदम खुश, दम खुश, दम खुश। सरकार दे रहे हैं।
आपका क्या नाम हुआ?
जुलेखा खातून।
पहले किन तरह की समस्याओं से है आप लोग को जो अवगत होना पड़ता है, रूबरू होना पड़ता था? पहले कई समस्या होती थी।
बहुत, वही रास्ता चल, कच्चा जमीन भी था, पार पे खाना ना, पानी ना था, हुआ तो खेत में तो ओनने जा रहे हैं, गिर रहे हैं, पड़ रहे हैं, धोते धोते तो बुढ़िया हो गए, पानी धोते थे। अब बेटी बहू आराम कर रही है। बहुत है, सब लाइन बत्ती सब ढीड़ी लेके निकलते थे, लड़कन को लेके हगायला मुता है। हाँ, पानी में जा रही, नहर था। हम लोग को बहुत बड़का बड़का जानवर भी जा रहा है, डर के मारे लड़कन भाग रहा है। हग मुता में लड़कन रात में धरिए ना निकलता था।
अब लेकिन आज कितना अच्छा
खैर। हाँ, और हम लोग क्या करते थे, गबड़ा गुबड़ी खान के घरे में बैठते थे, ना जाते थे बाहर। गबड़ा गुबड़ी खान के घर में शौचालय बना लिया था। हम लोग को शर्म लगता था, हम लोग बाहर ना जाते थे, तो गबड़ा गुबड़ी खान के बाहर घरे में बना लिया था संडास ऐसा। हम लौटा जाते थे, घर में बीमारी भी हो जाता था। अब संडास में कितनी महके है।
हमें अंतर ये आया है कि पहले हमारा मकान छोटा था, टूटा हुआ था, कड़ी भी थी, उसमें पानी भर जाता था, तो दिक्कत थी बहुत सारी। हमें योजना का पता लगा, फार्म भरे हमने, तो हमें जो है ना सरकार से फ़ायदा हुआ, पैसा आया अकाउंट में डायरेक्ट, और हमें कोई किसी को लेना देना नहीं पड़ा, बिल्कुल डायरेक्ट पैसा आया। हमें इससे बहुत फ़ायदा हुआ, मकान हमारा लेंटर का बना, पक्का बना।
अब बिल्कुल ही मुश्किल ही नहीं होता, थोड़ा बहुत भी नहीं होता अब तो। क्योंकि अब बारिश से पानी नहीं आता अंदर मकान के।
पक्का बन गया,
पक्का मकान बन गया, लेंटर का मकान बना लिया।
तो खुश है हम लोग,
बहुत खुश है जी, हम तो पहले से बहुत खुश है। पहले तो बहुत मतलब परेशान थे, लेकिन अभी तो वो परेशानी, जो हमारी परेशानी थी वो दूर हो गई।
योजना अच्छी लगी आपको?
बहुत अच्छी लगी जी। देखो हम तो यही चाहते हैं कि दोबारा मतलब ऐसी गरीब के लिए, गरीब तबके के लिए मतलब ऐसी योजनाएं आए।
And joining us now is Rishabh Gulati, Editor-in-Chief of NewsX. Rishabh, Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaking, of course, in a two-pronged approach to implementation of his welfare schemes. One, of course, also speaking about the 100% implementation of all welfare schemes, be it in, the Awas Yojana, the Mudra Yojana, the other Yojanas, of course, that the government has come out with. But also speaking about his secularism model, where he says that his endeavor is to ensure through the government schemes that every single beneficiary, be it from whichever caste or whichever religion or whichever community, gets the benefit.
In political season, it's very difficult to come down to brass tacks, bottom lines, undisputed facts. Okay? If in this entire interview there was a conversation about one indisputed fact, it was this. And that's what he says, that not even the opposition dispute this. We have done several conversations on this on NewsX, including the snippet of the ground report that you saw. So ladies and gentlemen, last December, okay, not even last December, last to last year, 2022, 2023, we were doing a dipstick test. What's a dipstick test? Dipstick test is that, listen, all the statistics come of these Yojanas and Awas Yojana and Ujjwala Yojana. What's actually happening on the ground? Because people are saying, you built a toilet but it has no water, you give a gas connection but it has no gas. So let's do a dipstick test. Is it actually happening on the ground? So we send reporters all over the country, and just like you would go anywhere in the country, if you go to a community, you're going to find Hindus, you will find Muslims, you'll find Sikhs, you'll find Christians. You don't have to go particularly looking for a community. So this is a snippet that is taken of a larger piece of people who received all these things. And here you have it on your screens, a Muslim who received a toilet. Here is Muhammad Intizar. He's from Uttar Pradesh. He's a Muslim who received a house, a lentil house. It's a big deal for the entire family. Okay? So what is the point? The point is that when development is taking place, if you do prioritize development, that means we have to build 1 lakh houses, but we only have resources or intent to build 10,000. So now we have to check and choose who the 10,000. And in checking and choosing who the 10,000, you have to then decide first priority to whom. First priority on caste, first priority on religion. What can it be on? And then we debate, no, first priority should be on economic status. But if you say everybody should have the dignity of a house, the dignity of a toilet, the dignity of cooking gas, and the dignity of not having to walk miles for water, you come to a 100% plan. Now, this is the only part, not only this interview, but the only part of the entire 10 years that not one allegation, report, anecdotal story has been suggested. Yes, there are problems, people have them, but no one is coming out and saying, in small or large numbers, that because of my identity, I was rejected from a government scheme. And the Prime Minister told us, in my tenure of 15 years plus in Gujarat, it never happened. Not one person raised this question or allegation. In 10 years as Prime Minister, not one person has raised this intent or allegation. So in 25 years of governance, not one person has ever accused me, opposition or not, of favoritism in government schemes. And that was the telling point of this interview there.
Absolutely. Well, we are going to be raising 5 big questions then today on this discussion. Can anyone accuse Prime Minister Modi of discrimination in government schemes by him, of course, in the centre, or by him earlier when he was Chief Minister? If there has been no discrimination in the government schemes, has he lived than by the Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas mantra given by him. Big question number 3, will the 100% plan help end caste and religious divisions within our country today? The big question number 4, why were we unable to accomplish 100% of basic needs then until now? And the final big question, will Muslim recipients of government schemes necessarily be for, or will they be against the BJP? Joining us at this point is Sumit Peer, political commentator. We also have Dr. Ajay Dua, former Commerce Secretary, Government of India, joining us live. Anurag Naidu, political analyst, is live with us. Indrashekhar Singh, agriculture expert, also joins the broadcast. Shamshravish Ryan, advocate, Supreme Court, also is with us live. Let me get started with you first, Ajay Dua. This is a big claim made by Prime Minister Narendra Modi that in his decades of governance, both as Chief Minister and now as Prime Minister, no one can accuse him of favoritism in any government scheme. He claims this is real secularism and this is real Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, where despite whichever religion you may come from, whichever caste you may come from, you all have access to these schemes that his government has enacted. Now, is that a fair claim by Prime Minister Modi? And is this then transformational governance in our country today, in which so many religions and castes exist?
Uday, I would answer it in a slightly different manner, that there is absolutely no evidence to the contrary that, and the Prime Minister, as we all know, has had a long innings at the state level, 14 years, 10 years here with almost 25 years experience of government and administering all kinds of schemes, provincial levels, federal level. There is no one, or there's no evidence put out by anyone to substantiate the charge that he has not been fair, or the distribution of government favors or government benefits has been covered by anything other than secularism. If in an area selected, such and such is the population, that whole area is sought to be covered, and the people do get the benefit. The answer to that kind of a thing is saturation is the right word for it. Let's try and cover everybody under a particular scheme. Food grain is an absolute classic example. Never in the history of the country had we sought to cover 800 million people. The Prime Minister justified it on the ground, also saying people who have just come out of poverty, 25 crores in the last few years itself, that they have just come out of a hospital, now they have to be fed during their convalescence. That till they recover and till they get onto their own feet. Absolutely the way I would say to go. Let everybody have food grains, and rather than our food grains being wasted, which used to happen at one point of time, and it called for a comment from the Supreme Court saying that why are you feeding the rats and not the human beings of the country? So that's the way to go forward. That's what we should be looking forward to in the next term, and that the government which is in power would make sure that much more of welfareism, and I don't consider it freebies. I beg to differ that if we have to give somebody clean water, somebody drinking water, somebody food grains, somebody even neonatal care, or even I'm saying you extend that scheme to say that even when a person dies, if we give a support to that family to bury the family, bury the body decently, or education up to 10th standard being made compulsory, and health care also up to a particular level, which is much more than now. These are not freebies. These are to make a country healthy, more productive. We keep on complaining that our productivity is low. Yes, if a person is not strong enough, he cannot concentrate, those kind of things, aberrations would occur.
Yes.
So I am one for the fact that yes, saturate, get more and more schemes which the private sector cannot deliver, or the private sector is not expected to deliver, and make the government
Okay,
strong.
point taken. Let me get in the others. Anurag Naidu, come in here on on this aspect of why many ask were basic needs of people not being taken care of earlier. Is that a fair question to ask, Anurag Naidu, according to you? And also, has it been a political masterstroke? Through the scheme spread, 100% saturation is what the Prime Minister claims. That, political benefit also has been drawn. Anurag, can you hear me? Okay, I think we've lost him, I'm being told. All right. Let me take that question to Sumit Peer. Sumit Peer, you heard the first part of my question. The second part is, do you believe then that this has also been a political masterstroke? Because political benefit obviously then is enjoyed by the BJP as well. The beneficiaries naturally vote for the party for continuance of such schemes and benefits. And the PM claims that this is the real Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, because minorities are also going to vote then for BJP if they're also getting the scheme. So do you believe then that there are going to be minority votes also going to BJP candidates, unlike what the opposition says, and also ensuring that votes across caste also go for the BJP, because these schemes also don't see caste when people are getting benefit, do they? Sumit.
Uday, thanks for having me on your show. In fact, it's the simple logic of karma. If your intention of karma determines the outcome of karma, here the intention is pure, here the intention is noble, here the intention is development and upliftment of people. So there is no discrimination of caste, there is no discrimination of religion, language, skin color, no discrimination, no demographic divide at all. Let's say if null for jal is everybody is eligible. 80 crore log ko ration, it's everybody who's eligible. So are you asking caste and creed and language? No. 54 crore people are getting Ayushman insurance in this country, which is more than the population of United States of America. And the number of people who have already got, cured under the Ayushman Bharat scheme is more than the population of United Kingdom. So when your schemes of this proportion being rolled out for the people of India, there is no discrimination. People of India appreciate it. The common man on the ground appreciates it. How does it matter if you're a Hindu or Muslim when you get a Ayushman Bharat card? Does it matter to you? No. How does it matter you're a Hindu or a Muslim, or what is your caste when you get a Shauchalaya, when you get a Ujjwala, when you get a Prajwala, when you get a free ration in your home? How does it matter when a Jan Dhan account is opened, when you're getting a Mudra loan, when 25 crore people are lifted out of the poverty? Was it decided that, okay, this will be a BJP rule state, this will not be a BJP rule state, these people did not do it BJP for power, let's not do it for them, let's do for the others? It's no. It is a pan-national view, and the Honorable Prime Minister is talking for everybody. This is what is called the Raj Dharma, or this is what is the real sense of political secularism, not the so-called traditional secularism, which was basically appeasement. Here you are doing Raj Dharma, and you are doing it equally for all. Now, when these things go to everybody's household, today, if you have insurance, you have a pakka makan, and by the way, the 34% of the schemes, all the schemes, 34 to 35% have gone to the minorities, though the population is around 12 to 13%, but their stake in the government schemes is around 34 to 35%, which is very good. If they deserve it, they should get it. No problems on that. So when people get makan, they get gas cylinder, they get insurance, they get Ujjwala, they get Mudra loans, they are getting all the things, Shauchalaya included. Why that person will not have a change of heart? Why do we assume and presume he's a Muslim, he's supposed to vote for Akhilesh Bhaiya, for example, or he's supposed to vote for a Tejasvi Yadav? So when these opposition leaders are seeing their vote banks dwindling, that is why they are worried. They worked on two things: consolidated Muslim vote and division on the Hindus on the basis of caste. So Modi ji worked on both the things. He consolidated the Hindu vote, no caste divisions are there, and by his schemes, by his mere karma and by his mere karma yog, the Muslims are getting attracted towards this BJP, and especially the women who think they've been relieved of triple talaq. They are getting a Shauchalaya, they are getting Ujjwala, Prajwala, they are getting a gas connection, they have insurance. And mind it, sir, when in Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, a house is given, it is necessarily registered in the name of a female. It's not registered to male, so that this is how the female empowerment is done.
Okay.
Now here, it doesn't matter when Hindu, Musalman, Sikh, Isai. Now, if I'm a Muslim and my wife has a Pakka Makan registered to her, don't you think that the instance of talaq and triple talaq and all that will reduce? I'm not saying it will stop, but it will reduce, because the house where I am living, it is in the name of my wife.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, Indrashekhar Singh, the fact is that if then there is no allegation of discrimination or no evidence to point to the contrary, as Ajay Dua was saying earlier, then the Prime Minister has then lived by the mantra that he gave. Many believe that sometimes these political slogans are mere optics and, they don't translate into action on ground. But do you believe then that it's fair to say that he has lived then by Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, the slogan that the BJP, of course, has given, and also this 100% plan of schemes? Do you believe it will help end caste and religious divisions on ground? Because such schemes and beneficiaries are not, divided or percolated by their caste or their religion?
Thank you, Uday, for having me on your show. See, I've been out in UP, traveling actually village to village, trying to find out actually about the implementation of these schemes. And to my surprise, I found that even in very remote areas, we could see, for example, the Awas Yojana, or for example, the food drains. But here I'd like to point to that it's not just a one-man army. This is the strength of the Indian state. This is the strength of all the people who've made the policy, all the bureaucrats, all the farmers. It's a whole chain that's feeding these 80 crore people. And all these schemes actually today represent the strength of India. Now, of course, I understand we are in political season, but today this talks about a maturation of the Indian state to deliver to the lowest people, some benefits of its welfare schemes. And of course, Modi ji can take the credit for it, but I think more credit goes to the Indian state and our policy planners and all of us as a whole, including the taxpayers, including the farmers. It's not just a one-man show. That's what I would like to say. And for the food comment, now the government is given basically 10 days ration. 5 kilos when you give somebody, depending on actually the quality of the ration, that may survive for maybe 8 or 10 days. And that's still not enough in a time of extreme unemployment and economic despondency to actually sustain people. So when we say we are maintaining 80 crore people, well, we are only maintaining them for 10 days a month. So let's bring that also into perspective. There's still a greater leap that we must achieve, which any prime minister should do, whether it's Modi ji or somebody else. We don't care. The Indian state has to do this. And I would like to focus on that, which being a non-political point. Thank you.
Okay, that's yes. Governments come, governments go. What is important, of course, is how the lives of common mans are being benefited on ground. And as you're saying, you're seeing that being implemented on ground. And of course, the Indian state and bureaucrats and other officers, of course, are also all aiding the Prime Minister's vision for that in various parts of the country. And you've been able to see that in villages of Uttar Pradesh is what you're saying. Let me get in Shamshavish Ryan on that note. Shamshavish, do you believe that this is real Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas then? When, there is no discrimination of government schemes on the basis of what a person's religion is, what a person's caste is. Do you believe then that Muslim recipients, that different caste recipients of these schemes then might end up voting for the BJP, unlike what certain opposition parties are claiming? What's your take?
No, let me tell you here that whenever there is any scheme that actually comes up, it will always be for everyone. If at all you say that, no, I would be providing something for a specific religion or a caste, so that's where the inequality would come. So when you do something this sort of for the government schemes, that's where the courts will actually pull in. They will say that no, that's wrong. So we all know that the government schemes will always be taken care of, and those will be followed by everyone. And as the earlier speaker said, that it is the IS officers, it is the bureaucrats who are.
But that's where that's where the messaging comes in, where the BJP counters by saying, look, this is what we're doing, and look what the opposition is planning. They're planning another caste survey. They're planning another caste census. They want redistribution on the basis of caste. They want wealth going to a certain minority community and not to everyone. That's where the difference in messaging also comes in.
No, so the people will, the other parties will come and keep on saying something or the other. But past from many years, government keeps on bringing such kind of schemes wherein you have to feed the poor, you have to give them all the benefit. It's their basic human right, wherein you have to lead a basic a life like a human being, which is a clean air, food to eat, school for your education, your good roads and all. You should have a house of your own. So these are something which are very basic human needs that is there under the constitution of
But the
India.
BJP says this wasn't being done earlier. Why are they the ones who have come to to accomplish 100% of people's basic needs in the country?
No, the earlier parties have been also doing it. You can't say that this is for the first time that
Sumit P responding to you.
So it is the earlier party who has come up, who has said that
I'll give you a few examples.
be feeded food.
I'll give you a few examples. Now, 5 crore houses have been almost delivered. 5 crore into 4 people per house, 20 करोड़ 25 करोड़ लोगों को पक्की छत मिल गई. Why Congress did not do it for 65 years? 1983 there was
that's what I am saying.
Let me complete, ma'am, please.
Have been coming
Ma'am, let me complete.
every time. It's the
Ma'am, let
comment.
me complete. Ma'am, let me complete. 1983, there was a project approved for a railway line from Udhampur to Kashmir. It only took Prime Minister Modi to come and complete the line. When Samajwadi Party was in power in UP, you could see from every SHO, every Havaldar, every Daroga was a Yadav. By default, it was a Yadav. It's only when Prime Minister Modi comes and Yogi ji comes in, then the same police delivers far better than anybody else. It is only under the Prime Minister Modi, from an export of $330 billion, we have done $770 billion. So it's only under the Prime Minister Modi we have the all-time high foreign exchange reserve.
So I would say it's only PM Modi who can use the Indian army.
It is the visionary leadership of Prime Minister. Let me tell you one thing, ma'am. Let me tell you one thing. LPG, ma'am, let me give you one more example. LPG concentration. Uday, LPG concentration.
Okay, let Shamshavish also respond to you. Shamshavish, yes, go ahead.
98%. In 10 years, 98% from 48%. 65 सालों में 48%, 10 सालों में 98%. How did it happen? Who did this magic? Why do you always need a Modi to come?
Okay, Shamshavish also come in now.
It's not Mr. Modi is been doing it. It's the IAS who actually comes up.
Where IAS only appointed in last 10 years? Where IAS only appointed in last 10 years? Yeah, IAS सारे छुट्टी पे चले गए. देखो कांग्रेस में.
No, you are
all
not.
IAS has taken a lead in Congress tenure. Did they go on at छुट्टी for 65 years? Are you telling me all IAS?
Let me complete at this news.
Okay, fair enough. No, if IAS officers are also implementing these schemes, and yes, no doubt they also deserve the credit. But at the end of the day, it's a vision of the Prime Minister.
PM Care Fund. Then let's talk about that.
Okay, let me also get in Anurag Naidu. Anurag Naidu has not spoken at all. Anurag, I was trying to get you in earlier, but I don't think you had joined by then. We're almost out of time, but Anurag, your quick take on this, of course, a big statement by Prime Minister on 100% of these schemes. This is clearly something that was not done earlier. The big question is, why was it not done earlier, is what Prime Minister Modi is also asking. Also, do you believe that this is the true essence of secularism, where you have schemes not seeing religion, not seeing caste, and no allegation to the contrary?
Absolutely. 100% I agree with you. It is a true display of secularism. And also let's understand, the previous two speakers, although they are smiling, they need to understand if this is not a debate between IAS officers and Modi. The schemes that have been implemented were the manifesto of the BJP drafted by the party workers and the leaders of the party, not any IAS officer. Please go and correct your information. The schemes that have been rolled out was the poll promise of Prime Minister Modi back in 2014 and 2019. So IAS officers are not included.
So what about doubling farmers' incomes? So farmers' incomes have been doubled.
I'm coming to that.
Let's be polite if you can, okay?
I will, please. I'm coming to that, right? So I'm very polite. I'm coming to that. I'll address that as well. Now coming to the implementation, Prime Minister Modi, if you have visited any of his rallies or if you have heard him, he never says मैंने किया. He said मैं और मेरे cabinet के साथी, मैं और मेरे parliament के साथी. Mr. Gadkari speaks about road कैसे बना. Prime Minister never speaks about road कैसे बना. Ashwini Vaishnav ji speaks about the railway. Mr. Prime Minister doesn't speak about कि railway में क्या हमने किया. So it is the respective minister and the department who speaks about it. When it comes to the social schemes, yes, Mr. Prime Minister speaks about it because this was a poll promise, doubling the income. Now coming to the doubling the income. Doubling the income, yes, it is all the effort that is needed on the basis of the recommendation of the international organization and the Niti Aayog. All the steps were taken to double the farmer income. It would have been doubled if there were no protests, which was, again incited by the opposition few sections who did not like the reforms that were brought in the agriculture sector, which was deliberately done to stop. And you all know how Mr. Prime Minister's security was also compromised. If you let him work, you would not have doubled the farm income, but you have tripled the double income. Because
so maybe for some big corporations, definitely. So doubling farmers' income for corporations.
End of the day,
I'm sure
your problem is corporation or your problem is not.
So my problem is private greed, sir. Private greed is the problem when you're looting Indian farmers for
it. If somebody is paying
so 2 million farmers are not.
We've run completely out of time. I'm going to have to leave it at that. We're digressing a bit. But my thanks to all of our guests for joining us on this discussion.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.